But today we are making a tea towel. So I had a request several months ago. Yeah, the ugly card, the ugly sweater stuff is so my vibe. Um, so I'm very excited. I'm going to be making a ton of those tags. I had a request several months ago to do a Chocature ink project. And so what I decided, I've got too much stuff sticking to this tea towel. What I decided to do today, and I'm going to turn this back on and press a little bit while I talk, is to use this ho 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 repeating pattern on our tea towels, because these are super easy gifts. Everybody loves a good holiday tea towel. These are relatively inexpensive. I should have looked up the price on ours. There is a site-wide sale happening right now through, what is the 29th? It's the 29th Wednesday. I think that's right, because Halloween's Friday, right? God, how's Halloween Friday, y'all? I don't understand. Do not understand how Halloween is Friday. But anyway, so that would make the 29th Wednesday. So we have a site-wide sale for chalk couture going on until Wednesday. Everything is 25% off. And that's 25% off your price. So if you're a Perks member, it's 25% off your Perks member price. As a designer, it's 25% off my designer price. And then retail customers, it's 25% off your retail price. So that is till Thursday, or till Wednesday, and that's everything. And we do have tea towels in stock. I did check that. So I just pressed that a little bit with my little mini press. Thank you. I appreciate that, Tina. I appreciate that so much. I was having a conversation, or part of a conversation the other day, talking about, sales and things like that. And the person doing the presentation was saying something about, once you've made the sale, you're not done. There's the customer service piece of it too. And that part is almost more important to me than anything else. Making sure that if something goes wrong, I fix it, make it right, making sure that people are happy with what they have. With chalk stuff, making sure people feel comfortable using the product. That's all super important to me. So I appreciate that feedback. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to line this up. All right, so we're going to get my ink mat kind of underneath this kind of halfway crease. I don't think this is straight by any stretch of the imagination, so let's try to fix that. I don't like our ink mats for t-shirts because they're kind of hard to get in and out of the shirt. However, for this kind of stuff, I like them. And that is why that was one of my recommendations. I didn't include it in the kit because they're not cheap, and not everybody would necessarily want one. Thank you, Tina. But they do really help to hold down your fabric when you're working. All right, so we're going to get our transfer on here. This is my lovely one that I've used multiple times. So you see some of my ink stains on there. I'm gonna go all the way down. I'm trying to decide. Okay, I don't have to be picky about this. I'm just showing you all what to do. Come on now. So if you're making this, you're going to want to figure out where you want your design to start, right? So if you want it to go all the way down to the bottom, I'm trying to get that hemline in there. If you want it to go all the way down to the bottom, you're going to want to make sure that you line this up like that. And then if you wanted it to go all the way over to the side, you would want to do that accordingly. So we can go ahead and do it that way. for anybody watching today, let me know if this is if you're familiar with chalk couture or not, so I can talk a little bit about what it is that I'm actually working with here in terms of product. And then I always just like to know, like, how many people know what chalk is, have heard of it, that sort of thing. And repeating patterns are nice because it takes a little time because you need to let it dry, but you could take this, wash this transfer, let it dry, let your surface dry, and then put it back down and line it up so you can get that pattern, repeating across the whole entire thing. So I've got this lined up so that the pattern's going to start like right at the seam. So this is that adhesive silk screen transfer. I do not need to fuzz this. Some of you have seen me. Yeah, right? Some of you, there's a series on the main chalk Facebook page that they're doing called Will It Chalk. And every week or so, they're like just doing crazy, silly things. Like one of the designers chalked her husband's bald head, which was hilarious. But it's just to kind of reiterate, like, that you can use this stuff on virtually everything. I lost my train of thought. Reusable silk screen transfer. Oh, fuzzing. If you've watched me in the past, I've used paste on wood or paper or other kinds of surfaces. And for those, you have to what we call fuzz it, right? You take this, use a fuzzing cloth or a terry cloth towel, and you kind of pick it up and put it down a little bit to get some of that sticky off. On textiles, you don't have to do that. You actually want it to stay kind of as sticky as possible. I need to turn my fan off or this is going to all dry on me too quickly. Okay. So I have a bunch of different colors here. I think in your kits, you got candy apple, shimmer gold. I do still have kits available, and I am giving a kit away. And then you got meadow. No, you got pesto, because meadow in the little individual packs was out. Pesto's sitting here somewhere. Yeah. So you got a green that looked like this. I pulled out meadow, and I also pulled out my scout because that's a little bit of a metallic green. And I love my shimmers. So don't have a shimmer green in ink, but we do have scout, which is a metallic. So I'm going to do this 3 ways, and I have extra transfers to be able to do that with. So I'm going to show you all the traditional, the one and done, right? One solid color, whole way through. I'm going to show you all the paste and peel, because you can do a paste and peel with ink. And I'm going to show you all, assuming I have time, hot mess, because you can do hot mess on textiles with ink as well. And y'all know that's my favorite. So I did recorded a presentation for an event last week, a online retreat called The Joy of Messy Creativity. And I did my little presentation, and I did a demo. And normally I demo what I'm talking about. So I was talking about collage and doodling and things like that. But I did my demo with chalk and did a hot mess design. So I wanted to talk a little bit about taking something that looks like it's an absolute mess and seeing how beautiful it can be, because that's the thing for me that I love about hot mess, that technique. I love our shimmers. It's the equivalent of glitter heat transfer vinyl for me. So if I'm doing a t-shirt in heat transfer vinyl, I'm going to want to always add glitter HTV onto it. And the shimmer and metallic pastes and inks are the equivalent of that to me. Always want to add a little bit of that. Now, I hate glitter, like in real life. Watching something this morning and somebody called it devil dust. I'm like, I agree with that. That's why I like stickles. I'm getting very into stickles because you get that glitter effect without having to deal with glitter. Now, one of the things that I am cognizant of for myself with ink projects is that I am not always I go a little bit too light on the ink, not correcting for the fact that the fabric is going to absorb it in a way that a wood surface, a paper surface, a glass surface isn't going to do on with paste. I'm trying to be more mindful of that and maybe put a little bit more on to begin with than what I would normally. Also trying to be mindful of the fact that I don't want to go off the edge here, because if this was paste and a wood surface, I would, devil dust. I died laughing. Like, how have I never heard it called that? But yes, that is what I will be referring to it as henceforth. Because it just gets everywhere. It makes me crazy. I mean, I like how it looks. I love how glitter looks on something, and the difference that it makes in terms of like jazzing up the project. But there's that. And we are going to take this up on the edge. I'm going to go all the way across so that I'm going to get everything. And you see how that ink mat is holding that towel in place as I'm pulling up the transfer. So that is why I love the ink mats for this kind of stuff. And I mean, it does the same thing on t-shirts and it's equally helpful, but it's just really hard to get the ink mat inside the shirt and then get it out. Okay, so that is our one and done, right? Single color, absolutely beautiful. You repeat that pattern, all the way across. You could also just do that dead center, right? You don't even really have to do it all the way across. You could put that pattern in the middle right here, so that when the towel is folded in half and then folded in and hung over like we fold our tea towels or our hand towels on the handle of our stove. It's just the ho 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 that you see. So that is one way to do this. I'm going to pull this up off of the ink mat. And I might mess this all up, but that's okay. I'm trying to only see if I can get away with only using up one tea towel today, and then I can just keep this one as a demonstration of what the different ways of applying the ink look like. Now for this, the only thing that's different that you're going to want to do when you're finished is you're going to want to heat set it. I get green up there. Well, I've already gotten green all over it. So you're going to heat set it, and that will then make it machine washable. And you can heat set it with an iron. You can heat set it with an easy press. You can use a Cricut mini press if you don't have, the larger easy press. If you do heat set it with an iron, no water, no steam. That's going to be your big thing. And some Teflon paper or parchment paper over your ink. You can use ink on glass and plates and things like that, and you'll heat set it in an oven, and then you'll want to use like a food safe sealer over the top of it if it's something that you want to actually be able to use to serve food on or something like that. You can use paste. I guess that would be important to use ink instead of chalk. Yeah. You can use paste on textiles. You can use the chalk paste on textiles, but you cannot machine wash it or put it in the dishwasher. There is nothing you can do to it to even if you heat set it, it may not come all the way off, but it's gonna come off quite a bit. Now, if it's something that you don't necessarily want to worry about machine washing, so like I've made ornaments, the little hoop ring fabric ornaments, and used paste because I wanted to use my shimmer frost, and we don't have shimmer frost and ink. That's fine. Those aren't going to get washed. I made, let's see, so I made these yesterday. I made this, I don't want to lay this all the way down. I made this wine bag yesterday, and all of this is ink except for this. This green is shimmer forest, and we don't have shimmer forest in an ink. But that's all ink. So on this one, I'll need to just make sure on the tag that I, write on it that it can't be machine washed. I am still going to heat set it so that the rest of that ink heat sets, but that one can't be machine washed. You can spot wash. And I always do that when I make tote bags because I have a tendency to want to use colors. Thank you. Yeah, that is the first of many. Or the wine bags for me are only $2.70 right now with that chalk-wide sale or that site-wide sale. So I had 10 and I just went and ordered 10 more because I have 2 huge events coming up. And wine bags are super popular gifts. So okay, so now we're gonna do, let's see. Oh yeah, I'm good. Ooh. I need to slow down a little bit. Actually, you know what? That's okay. If we get done, we'll make a wine bag. It's fine. So now we're going to do paste and peel. This will take me a little bit longer. And so this is one way to get multiple colors in a design. And it makes sure that the wine bags are great gifts. They're also really cute. I've seen people make them, but if they're gifting to someone who is not going to drink wine, they'll put maybe a non-alcohol design on it and put other things in it, socks, body lotion and shower gel, candy. Like those wine bags are really versatile. And then they also look really cute. Just throw some ribbon around one of the handles and it jazzes it up so much. So that's what I'll do with those is I'll put some ribbon on there and maybe some jingle bells and stuff like that. So if I wanted to do this in different colors, I can. The trick is that by the time I get all the way down here, all of this is going to have started to dry, which means when you pull up your transfer, it has the potential to pull up some of that ink with it. So the paste and peel kind of prevents that from happening. So we're going to go in rows. Now, if I was going to be really super fancy, and y'all, that ain't me, I would alternate colors, right? This row one color, this row one color, this one. Okay, now I say that loud. Now I want to do it. But that's just not my style. So we're going to do like 3 or 4 in one color, and we'll lift it up, and we'll do a few more in another color and lift it up, and so on and so forth. So we are going to start with shimmer gold, and because our letters are so close together, we're going to get some squeegees that I have cut in half. I like to cut my mini squeegees in half. And then I'm also going to use my detail tool and my multi-tool because I can hold them like a pencil, and that gives you a little bit more control when you're doing something like this. And it makes it a little bit easier to keep your paste or ink where you want it. So we're going to go down to here with the gold. And I'm going to start with the squeegee, but when we get to this row, I'm going to use my little detail tool. I'm going to mark where I'm going. I'm going down to this row. And see, I'm already doing this like I do paste, and not necessarily using enough ink. Because one of the things with ink that I am working on is remembering that I need to go a little bit heavier. And it's different textiles are different in terms of how much ink they absorb. These tea towels don't absorb as much as, say, the canvas in those wine bags, or in a tote bag, for example. If you're doing a flannel, that's going to be different. One of the things that people really like to do, and I've never done it only because I don't bleach the flannels. I know somebody who does, and I want her to bleach some for me. People bleach the back of a flannel and then ink a design in that bleached space. And one of the ones that's really popular to do that with is our Painterly Angel, which is probably one of my all-time favorite transfers. And it looks really beautiful. Seeing on the back of the jean jacket and on the back of the flannel. It's very cool. Pull that up, like that. And then I'm going to use my multi-tool just to help me push that transfer back down on my tea towel to make sure that it is sticking really well. If it's not sticking, you're likely to get a bleed where your ink runs outside of the negative space. Sorry, can't. Words are hard. Okay, so then we're going to, let's use some meadow. Put this over here. Oh yeah, okay. And then, so I'm going to take my detail tool again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll go down right about here. And we're going to use my detail tool to go across the top of this row. It's got this nice fun tip and will allow me to get close to those gold letters without accidentally getting green where I don't want it. So I do have some giveaways today. I am giving away one of these kits, one of the tea towel kits. I am giving away one of those ugly sweater um, gift tag kits. And then I am going to do another mystery box. So I will go through this evening through the comments and do my little random name puller magic. Do this so I know where I'm going. And get those kits in the mail. Y'all, I do want to, for the folks who have won kits from me lately, I want to acknowledge that I've not been great about getting stuff in the mail in a timely manner. I will do better this time. Green. So one of the first videos I ever watched, and this was before I was even a designer, somebody using ink was Ken Hess. And I remember him saying that you want to not be able to see the design underneath your ink. Now, I've repeated that to some people who have said they think that's a little much. But to be honest, when I've been using ink and that's what I go for, I have more success with the ink project looking the way I want it to and it not cleaning up. The ugly sweater. They are not posted yet, Tina, but they will be. I just got them yesterday, but they are going up. Can you make this look easy? It is easy. I promise you. I promise you. It is so much easier than you think. Where are my chalk people? Where are my chalk people watching? Everybody tell Ken that this is so much easier than you think. You know, the first couple of times, especially with ink, because I don't know why, I still kind of find ink intimidating, probably because I don't do it often enough. But I just messed around with something that it didn't matter. Like I didn't start out making a gift, right? Or making something that I wanted to sell. I just took an old t-shirt, and a transfer and oops, see, just got green where I don't want it. It happens. That'll cover. And said, okay, you know, we're gonna play around with this until I get comfortable with it. And I was first time I ever made a t-shirt, I was just sort of awestruck by how easy it was. Now I do a lot of one and done. I don't get super fancy when I'm doing ink projects. I mean, not for any particular reason, but you know, this right here is not normal for me with ink. Now, with paste, that's a different story, but oh, good, Tina. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I love doing those mystery boxes. They're so much fun. I'm actually going to start, I have one listed, but I'm actually going to start listing them in my store. I want to kind of get them more thematic that way. So there's our second color. So that they're, this is a Christmas one, and then there's like a winter one, that sort of thing. But I'm so glad you liked it. They're fun. They're really fun to put together. I've been part of a couple of mystery box challenges where, somebody sends you a box and you have to create with it. And so I think putting those together had really sort of got me into putting together mystery boxes. I really enjoy it. Okay, let's see. 24, 20 minutes. Okay. So we're going to do one more. I'm just going to do one row because I really want to show you all what Hot Mess looks like on textile. And for those of you who have never seen me do a Hot Mess technique, I want to be able to show you that. So we're going to do this one in red just so you can see what the three colors looks like. And then I'm going to flip this around and we'll do a round of this in Hot Mess. Push this down. I'm just going to use the multi-tool to do this one. I also want to show you something else that I did with this transfer. Which is part of the reason I picked this one for you all to have when you got the kit was the versatility of it. Because there's just so many things that you can do. I've made gift tags with this already. This would obviously be really cute on cards or gift bags. If you make your own wrapping paper, brown craft paper. I'll just use this as a repeating pattern. And then that gives you a lot of versatility too, because you have a lot of colors that you can use if you're doing a project that you can use on paste with. I will say they are ramping up our ink colors. So, which also might be part of the reason I don't do as many ink projects. Is that I think we have better colors in paste. But they're working on it. They're getting requests for that. So, like our color of the month this month was, we had a color of the month earlier in the year that was called Jolene. It was a dark reddish purple shimmer, very popular. And it was a color of the month this month in ink. And I would be using that, except I had a team member who did not place an order fast enough and didn't get it. It sold out. And so I promised mine to her, which is fine. That is fine. But that's also why I normally order 2 colors of the month when I order, so that I always have an extra. And I didn't do that on the Jolene ink. Now, doing something like this does take a little bit more time because you got some detail work in here, right? You're trying to avoid, well, wouldn't have to be, but I'm trying to avoid getting the red on the next row, which I don't know why I'm doing that. Because we're not really finishing this out. But habit. So paste and peel does take a little bit longer, which is also part of the reason if I want multiple colors in something. I like to do hot mess because it doesn't require as much patience. Um, Now, well, if I'm going to do it, I need to start. Um, I don't do big transfers either. So this is a B size transfer. It's basically 8.5 by 11. We have C size transfers, which are I should know, that are about like the length of this. I think they're 12 by 18. And then we go all the way up to like 18 by 24. And I don't get into the D and E. We just came out with 9 by 9s, which I like. And we just came out with what they're calling a G, which is basically 9 inches long or 9 inches wide and 12 inches long or something like that. But it usually has 3 different designs in it. But I have an E size transfer from last year that says Vintage Holiday Market and has this awesome Santa on it. And my big show for the year is, if anybody's local to me here in Central Illinois, it's the Hobnob Market, so you know what I'm talking about. It's one of those shows where how your booth looks, is almost more important than what you got in it. And I really, 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 really want to make that sign for my booth. And that's going to be a paste and peel project that is going to take me multiple days. And so if I'm going to do it, I need to get started. Okay, so that is our third color. And actually that looks kind of cool. So if you wanted to, you could do that and then just do gold for a few more rows and green for a few more rows, and then just keep like the red in there one just like pop of color. So that's how you do a paste and peel. So I'm gonna hold this up. I need to clean this off. This ink mat is don't do that. This ink mat is a mess. And then we're going to have a messy. So these ink mats, if the sticky starts to come off, you can take a Clorox wipe and clean it and let it dry, and that sticky will reactivate, which is actually how you can do that on your transfers. If you have a transfer that is well loved and is starting to lose its adhesive, you can take a Clorox wipe to the back of it, and you should be able to get some of that sticky back. So 8 to 10 is what is basically typically what we tell people. So many of my transfers I've used upwards of 12, 15. I have a little spider. Design's probably about that big, from a Halloween transfer that I bought the very first year I was a designer. And I have used that thing over and over and over again, because every time I do a Halloween design and I'm like, oh, it needs a little something. Oh, it needs my little spider. And I take the spider and I put him on in some shimmer frost, and I can't even tell you how many times I've used him, and he's still sticky. All right, so now we're gonna do a little hot mess. Put this down here. Okay, I'm doing good. All right, so let's give myself Okay, so for hot mess, first of all, I need my baby wipes. And we are going to use my Scout and my Shimmer Silver, Candy Apple, and Shimmer Gold. So we're going to do 4 colors. And so the one thing I will tell people when you do hot mess, and this will make sense when you see me do it, is if there's a color that you want to be more predominant, you want more circles of that. And so I usually say start with that. But I think for this one, I'm going to just try to get it not even, but I don't know that I have a color that I want to be more predominant. So you're going to take your finger. You can do this with a squeegee, and that's actually how I started doing it. And you're going to make circles all over the design or wherever you kind of want that color. And again, I want this everywhere, right? I love hot mess on florals. If I'm doing a floral design and I want multiple colors, you can almost guarantee that this is how I'm going to do it. It actually looks really cool with transfers with words on it. Can also do a, oh, what's it called? I can't remember what the official name is, but where you have the gradients of color. So I would take and put lines of color across the top or down the side. And when I pull it through with the squeegee, I would make sure that I am overlapping the lines. And then it gives a gradient. I forget what it's called. There's a technical term for that. I did it once and I did it perfectly the first time I ever did it. And then I haven't been able to do it right since. So I keep trying though. So then I'm going to add in my Shimmer Gold. This is also called the marbling technique. So if you're on YouTube, you can search for chalkature hot mess or chalkature marbling. Most of us call it hot mess just because we think it's funny. Ombre, thank you. Thank you. Like there's a word for it. So yeah, so I did ombre once, first time out. I mean, could not have pictured it better. And haven't been able to get it right since. Okay, so now we're going to add my candy apple. So you want to make sure you've got circles kind of close together. We're going to start making these a little bigger here in a few minutes. But your goal is that once you start making the circles bigger, that covers your entire design and that you're not having to really drag a lot of paste around to get your design covered. So every once in a while I will find that I maybe did not do quite enough. I have to move some things around, but I've got one more color still to go here too. So what am I doing? Okay, I've got 20 minutes. No, I do not have 20 minutes. I have 7 minutes. See, I talked too much at the beginning. I had so much stuff to tell you all. Yes, it is very versatile. It is very versatile. I love it. So I'm going to do some silver. Just got lots of on my finger. This is also one of my favorite colors, ink colors for shirts. Looks really pretty on black or dark gray. And then we start to make these circles bigger. You don't want them to turn brown, so you don't want to mix it too much. And you can do what I'm doing now, just kind of mix as you go, which I'm doing because I'm trying to go fast. Or you can literally just go around and make each circle bigger until they start to touch. And the difference there kind of ends up being how the colors marble. I haven't noticed that I like one way more than the other. Just that the colors do blend slightly differently depending on how you mix your circles. Make sure you get them all mixed and that your whole pattern is covered. Probably could have stood to do more circles. So my ink is drying here. So it's making it a little bit harder to split. And there have been times that I've had to go back into a jar because I didn't get enough paste or ink. So I had to go. And then you just kind of want to make sure that you don't see any of your negative space visible. So make sure all of the lettering is covered. And then you're going to take your squeegee and use a big one. And we'll put this in a drip tray. So one of the things that I like to do when I do hot mess is have a color tray handy to squeegee off my excess and then have a small project ready to use this on, because this is going to be really cool. And so I can use this later on something small. And I have taken this and put it in a drip tray or a color tray and put the tray in a little Ziploc bag. And it has held for like a day. Ooh, I just got that all over me. If I didn't have another project ready. I've got stuff to work on this afternoon, so I will use that. All right. Hot mess is a great name for it. It's a perfect name for it. Reveal. Got all those colors blended in together. Like that. And that is why I absolutely love that technique for using multiple colors. I just love how that looks. Hey, I did that with 2 minutes to spare. Oh, I was getting nervous there. What did I do? I'm going to show you real quick the other thing I was working on. This is another thing, the versatility. Isn't that gorgeous? Of this transfer. So I made these coasters using some essential stencil rub-ons, but then I used this pattern on the other side with chalk in Nominee, and then that Shimmer Forest. So really fantastic background pattern for all kinds of fun things. Okay, so wow, I have a minute. I can't believe I did that with time to spare. All right, so thank you all so much for hanging out with us on Saturday. Stick around. We've got Karen Bernstein, Riley LLC coming up after me. I will go back and go through the comments, make sure I answered any questions, and pull names for the giveaways. And my promo video is due today. So I will figure out between by the end of the day which card kit we're doing and record my little video, and you guys will have that soon. So I will talk to you all later. Bye, everybody.